From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a wonderful, amazing, restful, relaxing weekend. I know I did. I feel refreshed. It's Monday, February 22nd, 2021. We've got a lot of things to talk about, including a malformed URL prefix phishing attack that is seeing a 6,000% spike in successful phishing attempts. We have an update on SolarWinds from Microsoft. We've also got a SonicWall patching update, as well as a Mysterious Mac Malware on today's show. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at KnowBe4 and Wistic, so check them out in the show notes. And if you're tuning in, we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. You can tune in and catch us live here and get the latest. You can comment, subscribe, share this podcast with your friends and colleagues. Let's get right into today's stories. But before we do that, our ceremonial cup of coffee. It's Monday. I'm like on my second, third. I forgot. I've been awake for that long. But yeah, cheers. Let's hope this week we all have a much, much better weekend. I've got a very exciting announcement midway through the show today, so don't go anywhere if you are listening or watching. Let's start with the malformed URL, where sneaky attackers are essentially flipping backsplashes and phishing email URLs to evade protections, according to researchers. This comes from researchers from Great Horn in a report that they've observed nearly a 6,000% jump in attacks using malformed URL prefixes to evade protections and deliver phishing emails that look legit. And they do look legit. But if you notice one aspect, after the HTTP or HTTPS, one of the backsplashes is actually a forward slash. Kind of creative. This kind of attack is actually fairly successful, simply because, typo squatting where people don't pay attention. So you put a 1 instead of an I or an L, and so forth, or you write Amazon rather than Amazon. So there are a few different attacks to this, folks, and let's take a look at them. So here's what it looks like. The phishing email appears to be sent now at this time from the attack they've observed as a voicemail service. And the voice message says play Audi date.wave, which redirects to a malicious site. The team reports it then takes them to a reCAPTCHA, which is a common security feature. Understand that if we do it, the bad guys are doing it as well. So that's not a trust issue at that point. For us, it's not a verification issue. We're eliminating bots, but our employees, people who aren't in security, view that as a verification feature, and so they trust the website with CAPTCHA. Then it takes them to an Office login page where they stuff the credentials, and the attack goes on from there. So one thing to do here is go into your phishing email settings, into your email service, whether you use Office 365, Microsoft Exchange, G Suite, and just add the HTTP back, forward, back, and do that also with the HTTPS, and that'll essentially reduce this attack surface that they're using right now with these malformed URLs for phishing. So let's talk about SolarWinds. We have an update from the attack that just keeps on giving. Microsoft has completed its investigation. According to them, attackers downloaded the Azure and Exchange code. However, according to Microsoft, internal products and systems were not leveraged to attack others during the massive supply chain incident. They've now wrapped up their SolariGate investigation. Threat actors downloaded some Microsoft Exchange and Azure code repositories during the sprawling of the SolarWinds supply chain attack, but did not use the company's internal systems or products to attack victims, meaning specifically Microsoft was not a launching point for an additional attack. They really did their reconnaissance on Microsoft, and Microsoft's going to have a lot of hard work. This is one aspect that a lot of people don't really talk about in security, which is when you're a victim of an attack like this, where in Microsoft they were able to look at your code repositories, download some of them. Now you've got to go back and scan those for vulnerabilities, fix those vulnerabilities, understand and now start to red team what they're trying to do, and then get in your blue and purple teams to try and defend and protect it, as well as you're gonna war game a lot of these scenarios of what they plan to do with this information. This is a significant threat for them here. Analysts show that the first viewing of the file source repository was in late November and ended when we secured the affected accounts, according to the blog post. And these repositories contain code for a small subset of Azure components, including those related to service, security, and identity, a small subset of Intune components, and a small subset of Exchange components. So while we wait for Microsoft to come up with fixes, a few things. Defense in depth here is critical. So setting additional controls around identity, around service, around security, as inconvenient as it may be right now, is going to be one way to reduce the threat on your organization. It's something you'll definitely want to do now. We'll move on to SonicWall releases an additional update for the SMA 100 vulnerability. We talked about this on February 3rd, so about 3 weeks ago, felt like last week, for the 0-day vulnerability, and a huge recommendation for everyone to really patch it. Now, if you're an MSP, MSSP, because that's who's predominantly using these, it's not large organizations. It's typically MSPs and MSSPs doing this for their small and mid-sized organizations. The new firmware includes code hardening fixes that's identified during an internal code audit, roll-up of customers' issues that are fixes that were not included in the February 3rd patches, general performance enhancements, and previous SMA 100 series 0-day fixes. And so you want to make sure you get your SonicWall router and firewall updated immediately. We'll end today with a mysterious Mac malware that's infecting at least 30,000 devices worldwide. This, according to researchers from Red Canary and Malwarebytes, whose data showed that as of February 17th, 29,139 infected macOS systems across 153 countries, including many in the US, UK, Canada, France, and Germany. The activity cluster has been named Silver Sparrow. Another piece of the malware specifically designed to target devices with the new and enhanced M1 chip, and it's a variant of the Pyrite adware that was detailed last week by Apple security research expert Patrick Wardell. The sample analyzed by Wardell was uploaded to Google's malware analysis service VirusTotal in late of December of 2020. In the case of Silver Sparrow, an actual malware file for the M1 systems was submitted to VirusTotal on January 22, but one of those domains it used was registered on December 5th, the earliest known variant of the malware. One designed to target the pre-M1 systems was apparently created sometime in August of 2020. Interestingly, though, infecting a significant number of machines, researchers have not seen any payloads being delivered to the Silver Sparrow malware, making the threat actor's goal unclear. Although this could be a reconnaissance campaign, the malware has been delivered as a PKG file, but the initial distribution method is still unknown. Red Canary believes that the Silver Sparrow doesn't currently have a payload, but that it might get one soon, and that Red Canary has made the available indicators of compromise and other technical data available for defenders and threat hunting team on their website. You can go check that out there. So you can check it out. Yeah, supply chain vulnerabilities. Indeed, I couldn't agree more. That's it for our practitioner brief here today, folks. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back with a lot more tomorrow, so stay tuned for that as well. I know I have a big announcement. I'll move that to tomorrow simply because I got carried away here with the stories today. So tomorrow, that'll be the first thing I talk about when we start our show. Until then, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay healthy and stay cyber.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.